Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Economics with Henry. Today we're going to be talking about economic efficiency and why it's an important topic to consider. So we learned in one of the first couple of videos, we learned about market equilibrium. So when supply equals the demand. And at that point now, we can also now refer to that as the competitive equilibrium. That is when, yes, the supply equals demand, but that is when our economic surplus is going to be maximized. That is where producers will be able to receive as much benefit as they can, and that is where consumers will be able to receive as much benefit as they can too. At that price of when supply equals demand, every consumer is willing to buy that good at that price. And every producer is willing to supply that good at that particular price. However, there's also another way that we can think of demand and supply. We can think of it as marginal benefit, or MB. So marginal benefit is the amount of benefit we had from consuming one last unit. So as we buy one additional good, as we buy more goods, as the price decreases, our marginal benefit from having that or consuming that good will be less and less. For us, marginal benefit will be captured by price. So let's give an example. So let's presume that the price that we have for apples. So I've got an apple right here. Let's presume that the price of this apple is $3. Now let's presume that the marginal benefit for the fifth apple we've had is, I don't know, let's say it's $4, let's say it's $4.50. We're gonna make sure to be consuming apples until our marginal benefit equals the price. We won't consume too little or too many. We want to make sure that the price of this good, of the apple, is equal to the marginal benefit. At this point in time, when the marginal benefit equals the price of the good, that is where we're going to maximize our surplus. And this will help to maximize the economic surplus. So as we talk about economic surplus, it's important then to talk about consumer surplus. So consumer surplus is the difference between the price that we're willing to pay for that good or service and the price that we actually have to pay for that good and service. So how we would show that is probably by graphing it, and how we can see it is that it would be the consumer surplus would be everything that is above the demand line, and so everything above the price line and everything below the demand line. So in that case, we're going to be seeing a nice little triangle. Now, for the marginal cost, it is going to be pretty much the same thing. So as producers keep producing more, they're going to get to a point where their marginal cost, so not marginal benefit, but the marginal cost, so the price of producing that last good or service, it should be where that equals the price that good is selling for. When that's happening, when the marginal cost equals the price, that is when producer surplus will be able to be maximized. So let's have another example. So if we've got a good, let's say it's selling for $4. Our marginal cost of producing 20 of these apples, let's say, is $3. We should keep producing until our marginal cost for producing, let's say the 60th apple, it's $4. We should keep producing apples until we hit the 60th one, because the marginal cost of that 60th apple is $4. And that's when it equals price. And if we do that, that is when our producer surplus will be maximized. So producer surplus, again, just like consumer surplus, is the difference between the price that producers are willing to receive for that good or service that they're putting onto the market and the price that they actually get. So how we show that graphically, just like with consumer surplus, it is just everything that is below the price line, and which is, I believe it is, yes, to be above the supply line. So when marginal benefit equals marginal cost, which should happen at a particular price, this is where we're going to get an efficient equilibrium. When we have efficient equilibrium, that is where both consumer and producer surplus are absolutely maximized. This is good for an economy because if we can maximize producer surplus, that's great. Then they can make as much money as they possibly can. For Henry's Apple Company, they're producing the largest amount that they can make and be able to make a profit with. And for consumers are maximizing how much happiness or maybe it's a monetary value, but how much they're having or from consumption. They're maximizing how much they can have with the price that they're paying for it. If we do that, if marginal cost equals marginal benefit, we will hit the efficient equilibrium, and that is where everything is maximized. The producer and consumer, their benefits are maximized. But a good question might be, what happens when we don't? What happens when we don't have an efficient equilibrium? What happens if we're not producing enough or we're producing too much? It's an interesting question. And that's when we're probably going to be hitting things like deadweight loss. And that's where our market isn't in equilibrium. And it's definitely a very challenging situation and something that needs to be addressed. So with the next video, I'm going to be focusing on that. I'm going to be talking about when an equilibrium is not efficient, when it's offline, when it's not where it should be. So if you're willing to see that video, that'll be dropping next week. And I was wanting to switch the two videos up. I think it's important to talk about when a market is doing the good job, where there is an efficient equilibrium. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about when a market isn't in equilibrium. So if you guys are looking forward to that next video, I'll get to see you soon. I'll get to see you next week. And if not, I hope you guys have a good day and I'll see you later. Bye.